Yeah. What up now? Oh, we're gonna die.
You got your backpack, big dollar D, shadow put your feet up. Cause you know I hit you back. Ben Brown with the hat back.
The techniques I'm covering are some of my favorites.
Shadow put your feet up. Cause you know I hit you back. Ben Brown with the hat back. Work, come on. You got your backpack, big dollar D, shadow put your feet up.
That was crazy. Hey, what do you guys look like?
I just want to train. Just to train. That's it. Awake. Everyone else is asleep. I know. We should take the camera and go wake everyone up. That would be fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to start out with side kick. It is the most fundamentally complex kicking technique out of the kicking arsenal. What you want to do is there are 3 main points of a side kick, and those are the chambering of the kick itself, and then the rechamber. To start the side kick out, what you want to do is start out in some kind of fighting stance. It's easiest that way. So from a fighting stance, what you want to do is chamber the kicking leg. And in order to do that, you will bring your knee up to your chest. You'll bend the kicking leg, pull your heel to your hip. Your knee will be slightly higher than your foot. Simultaneously, while you're bringing up your knee, you're going to pivot the base foot 180 degrees. If you don't pivot the base foot 180 degrees, you're not turning your hips over. A lot of people who do side kicks don't turn their hips over, and if you're not turning your hips over, plain and simple, you're not kicking with maximum power. When you chamber the side kick, your foot should already be in side kick position. The weapon that you're using is the knife edge of the heel. You don't want to pull your chamber too close to your chest though, because doing that will cause you to more or less stomp, and side kick is not a stomp, it's a kick. It should not look like a stomp. And there are a few side kicks out there that the chamber's too close to the chest and it looks like they're stomping sideways. Don't do that. The chamber needs to be tight, but it doesn't need to be so close to your chest. A lot of people, I would say 99% of the people who I see do side kicks do not kick from the hip. They kick it from the knee. And that's not a side kick. A side kick is a kick that comes from the hip. If you're kicking from the knee, you're doing a roundhouse kick. So you must kick from the hip. It's absolutely mandatory in order to do a correct side kick. When you chamber the kick, what you want to do is you want to bring the heel in line with your hip. Now, from this point, once you've chambered, what you want to do is draw an imaginary line from your hip or your heel to the target. You want your heel to travel on that straight line. If it's not traveling on that straight line, you're kicking with your knee. So the foot needs to jet out straight. And whenever you execute a side kick, you need to do it with a lot of speed, because you might have all the power in the world. If you're not fast enough to get your technique where it needs to go, what's the point in executing the kick at all? Now, once you've executed the technique, you should lock out from the knee for about a second, maybe 2. I don't suggest locking your side kick out at longer than 2 seconds. You need to stick it very hard. You should feel the kick snap. And then once you've stuck the technique, bring the heel back on that same exact imaginary line that it came from. Your side kick should travel in exactly on the same path that it traveled out from. Not only that, but your chamber and your rechamber should look identically the same. Once you've rechambered, put down the chamber in a controlled way. When practicing side kick, I suggest doing slow motion kicking. If you want to improve the technique of whatever kick, whatever technique it may be, let's say it's side kick, practice doing the side kick in slow motion. At first, I would use the back of a chair. Don't rely on the chair though. Don't lean on the chair. Just use the chair to maintain balance, but don't use it as a tool. And kick high, but not too high to where you lose control of the technique. Chamber the technique slowly. Pay attention to every detail. Make sure your foot position is correct. Kick out slowly. Hold it for about 30 seconds. Really make the technique burned into your muscles. Rechamber the kick slowly. Pay attention to detail again. Then put the foot down. I would do reps of these. And when you get more comfortable and your balance becomes stronger, take the chair away and then do slow motion kicking without anything holding you up. Just do it stationary and look at a clock, because time passes by very slowly when you're watching that second hand go by, and it's good for you. It'll make your kicking skill much stronger. Slow motion kicking is the #1 way to make your kicking technique improve. Clean technique is the most important thing you will ever have. Whenever you execute a side kick, pay close attention to all the details. A lot of people, when they kick high, they look with their head and not their eyes. Don't do that. Look at your target with your eyes, not your head. When you have practiced enough, all these details that I've mentioned will become burned into your muscles. When this technique has become burned into your muscles, this technique, like every other one, will become very easy. Once that happens and you are executing a side kick consistently, don't think about it. It's already burned in your muscles. Your body knows what to do. Just let your body do the work and let your mind rest. When you execute this technique, it should be done with a lot of speed. And the only way to attain speed is to relax. So stay relaxed, kick fast, and make sure it snaps. Start the kick from a fighting stance and stay on the balls of your feet. After you have kicked your target, you want to transfer the weight to your heel so you don't interrupt the momentum. Thus, you maintain speed as opposed to kicking from a flat-footed stance. Once you've spot your target, you know where it's at. You then want to spin. Keep your hands in and stay tight. Spin on the ball of your foot until you've kicked your target. When you have turned your head, your eyes should immediately find the target. As you fix your eyes on the target, keep turning your shoulders. Once your shoulders have centered in line with the target, chamber the hook kick. The chamber should be knee-high, pulled towards the chest. Knee slightly higher than the foot. Foot in line with the hip. Once your hips have come in line with the target, it is time to kick. You should execute the kick 3 to 4 inches before your target. It should snap. You should always fully extend all of your kicks. So 3 to 4 inches before your target, you want to execute the kick, extend it fully. 3 to 4 inches after the target, you want to rechamber the kick. Your hips should be turned over. I see a lot of spin hook kicks where the hips are squared and then they're really doing an outer crescent kick. That's not good. Don't do that. Roll your hips over. Turn your hips sideways. So the striking tool is either the ball of the foot or the back of the heel. The ball of the foot, if you're kicking with the ball of the foot, you point the foot. And if you're kicking with the heel, the foot position is going to be the exact same as side kick position, side kick foot position. The kick should snap at the knee. What you want to do is to rechamber, you want to pull your heel back in line with your hip and chamber really, really, really tight. Then, once you've rechambered the kick, keep turning your shoulders, your waist around, and then plant the kicking leg down on the ground exactly where it came from. And then you've done the spin hook kick. Haha, you've done the spin hook kick. To practice this technique, walk through it. Slowly, pay attention to details, get familiar with the motion of the technique. Always look, anytime you're spinning, twisting, anything, I'll say this, but I can't help it, it's the golden rule. Anytime you're spinning, twisting, or turning, look in the direction you're spinning. Get familiar with knowing where you are. But don't ever kick with your hips square, outer crescent kick. It's not good. You can't generate enough momentum. And it's not as fast to go into trick techniques. If you're using a spin technique to as momentum to gain speed to go into a trick technique, don't do an outer crescent kick. Spin hook kick, definitely. One of the most impressive trick techniques when done correctly is the 540. By far, a technique that looks like it would kill your opponent right then and there. A lot of people when doing a 540, they make it look more like a hop or a jump because they are trying to more or less get over the trail leg. It looks like they're trying to hop over the trail leg, and they lose speed, and it looks more like a jump. And 540 should never look like a jump or a hop. It should definitely look like a kicking technique. It should look like a kick. To do the 540, I suggest getting some momentum. To do this, I would execute a spin hook kick for speed. Once you have executed the spin hook kick and the spin hook kick is down, what you want to do is slightly bend over the waist, simultaneously throwing your arms down and around. That's called arm swing because your upper body does as much work as your lower body with any technique. While you slightly bend at the waist and your arm swing is going down, you want to do a half turn. And from this point, you're going to throw the trail leg up straight towards the sky. This will give you lift. Combined with the arm swing and the lift of the trail leg going up towards the sky, it will pull your whole body upwards. From the point that when the trail leg is up, you should look over your shoulder in the direction you're turning to kick. Your arm should be up and you should now jump. Now it is time to execute the kick. The 540 kick is either going to be an inner crescent kick or a roundhouse kick, and that kind of up to you. It's your preference. However, no matter what you're doing, even if you are doing a roundhouse kick, you should think of the 540 as an inner crescent kick. The reason for this is because the first muscle to contract will be your inner groin muscle, which is the muscle that contracts first when you do an inner crescent kick. because the kick is coming upwards from the side, it will start out like an inner crescent kick. If your hips turn over towards the peak of the kick, then that's fine, but it starts out like an inner crescent kick. Just remember that. So once the trail leg goes up, you jump in the air straight up, it's time to execute the kick. Your kicking leg should be straight, always fully extend all kicks for clean technique. At the peak of the kick, what you want to do is start to wrap the trail leg in. If you notice on your screen right now, I lay my 540 back, and it's not so much that you lay the 540 back as you pull your hips up. To lay back is to kill the jumping power that you've had in order, which you need that height in order to land the technique cleanly. Coming out of a technique is very, very important. You should never stumble, you should never land low, you should always come out of your technique very, very fluidly. 540 should not be so much high as it is fast. It shouldn't look like a dynamically high technique, because to do that would be to take away its speed. And 540, the reason 540 is such a dynamic technique is because of its speed. And remember, always remember, to attain that speed, you must be relaxed. You must stay relaxed. Practice your 540, pay attention to the details, and reps. Can't say that enough. Reps, reps, reps. Repetitions. You think you've done a 540 one too many times? Do it 100 more. It's the bottom line. It's the only way you can attain clean technique. What you are basically doing is a 540 hook. Both kicks visible. Jackknife is mostly a timing issue. Get a lot of speed. You're going to need it. Do a very, very, very fast, snappy spin hook kick. Once you've done the spin hook kick, the setup for the jackknife is very similar, if not the same. Well, actually, it is the same as 540. However, the arm swing involved with jackknife is crucial. Big, big, big arm swing gives you lift. Plus, the trail leg goes up. Same thing as 540. When you've jumped straight up, your trail leg is up, and you're about ready to do the 540 kick. The timing issue is this. A lot of people try to accentuate the 540 kick, thus they wait too long and their hook kick becomes shallow or low. What you want to do is at the peak of the 540, right here at the freeze frame point where my 540 is straight up pointing towards the sky, that's when it's time to execute the hook kick. At the peak of the 540 kick, look over your shoulder, turn your shoulders, roll your waist over, and start to execute the hook kick. A lot of the reason people do it later than that is because they don't feel they're making the 540 kick obvious enough. When the knee passes your face on the 540 kick, throw the hook kick. When the side of your knee passes your face on the hook kick, know that it's time to land. When you execute these kicking techniques, make the kicks look like they have a wide range. Kick them all the way across from one side to the other side. Another tip, just exactly like my 540, I lay my jackknife back too. The reason for this is because it gets your chest out of the way. So if your chest is out of the way, not blocking the range, not blocking the view of the kick, it makes the kick look that much longer, the range of the kick look that much longer. Think of pulling your hips up to your chest. Don't think of pulling your chest down to your hips. It's always, always, always hips to your chest. And then when you're executing the hook kick, it should come all the way across, and you should land on the 540 kicking leg in a very controlled way. When doing the jackknife, you want to wrap. This is a speed technique, so with the arm swing, you want to throw your arms up towards the sky to give you lift along with the trail leg of during the 540 kick. But as you execute the 540 kick, pull your arms into your chest. Not only does this help you wrap up and maintain spin, thus gaining speed, it also looks cleaner. Get your arms in and out of the way. You should never have flailing arms. The only thing you should be able to see is kicking legs and torso. Jackknife is a very strong technique. Practice hard because it's worth it. Side swipe is an inverted 540. To execute the side swipe, your head needs to be lower than your waist but it needs to be more of an angle, like you're traveling on a downward angle. And in order to do this, to travel on this line, you have to look at the back 45. You want to set up exactly like you did with the 540. Cross step, step over. The kicking leg will be the jumping leg. Big arm swing, slightly bend at the waist, slightly bring your chest down. And then you're going to explode off the ground straight up. As you jump, throw the trail leg straight up, very high, very aggressively. While you're throwing your trail leg up, you want to look at the back 45 in the direction you're going to be turning. So if you're kicking with your right leg and turning over towards your left, you want to look up at the back left 45. Jumping leg will be the kicking leg, and it will also be the landing leg. A side swipe is a roundhouse kick because your hips naturally turn over, especially if you're on that downward angle. At the peak of the kick, you should wrap your arms in tight. If you pull your trail leg in sooner than this, your trail leg will act as an anchor and pull you down. So until the peak of the kick, keep your trail leg out. Once your kick has passed the peak point, pull your trail leg in. You will see your landing, and you should land on the ball of your foot. Once your kicking foot is down on the ground, you can then put your trail leg down on the ground, land controlled, thus making the entire technique clean. What makes this technique different is that it's an evasive technique. This is not an attack. Raise is not an attack. There is no kick. There is no trail leg. It's an evading an attack coming to the legs. Thus, it floats. Setup for raise is exactly the same as a 540, but it has a greater arm swing. A lot of people execute a raise that goes out to the side. This is not the cleanest way to execute a raise. It should travel straight back. This also makes it easier to do this technique for carry-through combination techniques. Once you have set the raise up, turn slightly bent at the waist with the arm swing in motion. Throw the first leg straight up while also throwing your head back. The powerful arm swing combined with the leg going up will give you tremendous lift. When throwing the first leg up, think of throwing it over the shoulder of the same side. When you're at the jumping point of the raise and your arm swing is in motion and you're looking over backwards behind you, you want to throw the first leg over the shoulder of the same side. I think of throwing my left leg over my left shoulder. As you're in the air, arch your back and look up with your head. By this time, you should have jumped straight up. After your jumping leg or foot has left the ground, you shouldn't try to throw it up like you did the first kick. The second leg, the jumping leg that leaves the ground last, don't try and think of it as catching up to the front leg. Let it lag, let it be lazy, let it trail behind. Let the lift of the first leg going up pick you up, and then let the back leg just trail behind. Just let it wander. You should relax, and your legs should be very far apart. If you are relaxed in the air, your legs will naturally spread more. When you're upside down and your first leg is coming around, you should pull your arms in. When the first foot has come down, you're looking up, you can see your landing, the first foot will come down, touch the ground. Your back leg is still up in the air. Don't rush it to the ground. Let it fall. Just let it fall straight down. Again, that will create the floaty feel to it. Jump high, high lift with the first leg that goes up towards the sky. Throw your head back, arch your back, and then keep your trail leg behind you and let it fall down to the ground. Just let it fall. Land it very controlled, land it very solid. That is the way to achieve a clean raise. Cheat 720, when done correctly, is an amazingly fluid technique. There's some discretion on what the Cheat 720 is executed with, either an outer crescent kick or a spin hook kick. I execute mine with an outer crescent kick because the first time I saw it done, that was the way that person did it. Not only that, but the outer crescent kick has a much wider range of kicking motion. To execute the Cheat 720, the setup is similar to the 540 in that you will cross step. As you turn around, you want a big arm swing. Don't bend so much at the waist like you did with 540, but more so bend at the knees. Jump straight up Once you've left the ground, you're going to take the knee of your kicking leg and you're going to shoot it straight up at the front 45 towards the sky. You're going to do that as you leave the ground. Pin your chin to your shoulder. This is crucial. Wherever your head goes, your body will follow. Look at the direction you're spinning. Throw your knee up. Once you've come around, you spotted your target first when you're on the ground looking at your target. The second time you spot your target is when you will have made your first rotation in the air. You will come around and see your target. As you see your target, you should do a couple of things. Your knees should do what is called pumping. You should do what's called pumping of the legs. When your kicking leg went up first, so the knee that is up should come down, and the knee that is down should come up. This transfers weight and allows you to maintain speed in the spin. Keep looking around. Keep finding, aggressively trying to find your target. You should pump your legs while your body is facing the direction of your target. If you're still pumping your legs after that, you're too slow and you need to do it faster. While you're pumping your legs, wrap your hands in. Your hands should wrap up halfway through the time in between the first spin and the second spin. When you come around, you will spot your target the third time. The third time you spot the target is time to execute the kick. Chamber the outer crescent kick by dropping the knee that is up down and pulling the knee that is down up. The knee that is coming up will be the kicking leg, and it is the knee that was thrown up first when you originally jumped off the ground. When that knee comes up, the speed and the momentum of the 720 spin will automatically pull your leg out. So the cheat 720 should almost feel like you're not even kicking. The speed of the technique should make it feel like your leg is kicking all by itself. And the outer crescent kick should pan all the way across your face. And spin out of it, slow the momentum down, get control of the motion, and then land on the dime. Boom. Flash kick. Fantastic technique. A really, really, really strong one too. I'm going to go off on a little soapbox here. Many people who execute trick techniques are simply doing it for the sole purpose of jumping high in the air. This is not the way to do trick techniques. Martial arts is not about jumping high. It's to jump high enough so you can land with your chest up so you can land the technique in a clean way. But it's not about jumping high. Any kind of attacking technique should have a proper balance of speed and height. But your focus should always be on speed, because what are you doing? You're kicking. You're doing an attack. Thus, your focus should be on speed, getting your weapon where it needs to go. This mentality of jumping high in the air is beyond me, and I do not understand it. What happens is when your focus of jumping high, you no longer look like you're attacking anything, because you lose all speed. By trying to jump high, you will cause your technique to lose speed. It will slow down. Thus, it will look like a flipping, floaty type of technique. It should not look this way. It should look strong. It should look fast. Any kind of trick technique, or any kind of attacking technique for that matter, should look like it takes someone's head off. This is very true for flash kick. Flash kick is bar none the technique when executed right, when executed the right way, would look like you kicked the guy in the face and he fell directly into his coffin. That is what flash kick should look like. Remember that. It's the way flash kick needs to be done. You kick them in the coffin, they go. Boom, end of story. So, it's not about jumping high. It's jumping high enough so you can land the technique with your chest up, so you can land the technique controlled. But don't worry about getting high in the air. Martial arts is not about jumping. Let's just put it this way, okay? Two guys are talking. They can both do a flash kick. They can both do, by the way, flash kick. I never practice flash kick out of any kind of setup. I don't practice flash kick out of a round off or anything like that. A standing flash kick, to me, is one of the most impressive looking martial arts techniques there is when done correctly. When done and when you make it look like a martial arts technique. So, okay, back to my analogy. Two guys are talking. They can both do standing flash kick. Guy A has a very high, floaty flash kick, while guy B has a very fast, clean flash kick. Guy A says to Guy B, "My flash kick is higher than anybody's flash kick in the whole world." Guy B replies, "Well, that's cool, but my flash kick can knock you out." End of story. That's what it is. It's not about jumping high. It's about who can knock who out. And I promise you, if your flash kick is fast and whips over hard, you win. I don't care. I don't care if the guy can kick the moon, as they say. He might kick the moon, but when he comes down, he's going to be unconscious. So what does it matter? Okay, now I'm off that rant. But a flash kick at the core is, what is it? It's a backflip front kick. So it should look that way. You should execute the flash kick from a standing natural position. Your arms should be down at your sides, and your feet should be directly underneath your torso. When you jump, slightly bring your chest down and slightly bend your knees. But don't get crazy with bending your knees either. The reason I say this is because flash kick is an explosive technique. It's all about the explosion. And if you bend deep and you bend over far, that will elongate the period of the setup, thus slow you down and take away from the explosion of the technique. It needs to be done fast, and it needs to be done on the drop of a dime. When you have bent your knees and brought your chest down slightly, throw big arm swing, arms directly behind you. Once your arms have reached peak behind you, throw them straight up towards the sky and jump explosively. When your arm swing is at its peak, throw your head back and arch your back. That gives the flash kick that snap. As you throw your head back and you arch your back, both your trail leg and your kicking leg should chamber. Yes, even flash kick has a chamber. It's time to kick. You should do a front kick very hard. Snap the front kick out and lock it out, and keep it that way through. Once it's locked out, keep it locked out through the rest of the technique. At the peak of the kick, you should be upside down, looking up at the ground. Looking up at the ground. Sounds pretty funny, but looking up at the ground. Okay, so once you're doing that, you've thrown arm swing. After you've arm swing, you've kicked, you've chambered, you've kicked, your trail leg is in because you tucked your trail leg. Remember, tuck the trail leg. It makes the kicking range look bigger. Anytime you look the range of motion of the kick look it bigger, it looks that much more fast. It makes it that much more apparent that you're kicking. Anytime anyone comes up to you, well, not anytime, anyone. If someone were to ever come up to you and say, and if you were to do a flash kick, and if someone were to come up to you and say, "Hey, that was a good backflip," that's really, really bad. You know you're not doing it right. Because they need to come up to you and say, "That was an amazing backflip kick thing you did." If they don't know what they're talking about. If they don't know what they're talking about, they need to, "Man, that was crazy, backflip kick." That's how obvious. Even a complete stranger should see the kick. If they don't see the kick, and if it just looks like you're doing a backflip and sticking out one leg, it's bad. That's horrible technique. That's the difference between bad technique and good technique, is that there's a chamber, a kick, and a rechamber. Sometimes. There's not always a rechamber. But usually there's some kind of chamber, kick, and there's a process of the kick to where it's apparent that you're kicking. So, once you've jumped, your head is back, your back is arched, you've kicked, you're at the peak, your kick is straight up, pointing towards the sky, you're looking up, but below you is the ground. Once you've done that, plant your kicking leg down on the ground firmly. Not until your kicking leg has touched the ground should you untuck your trail leg. Keep it tucked the whole time. Because of the whip of the front kick coming around, your trail leg should land in the back. Flash kick, very, very important. Land with your chest up. If you land with your chest low, or if you're bent down at the waist, landing way too low. Looks sloppy. Bad technique. Always land with your chest up. You should come out of the technique almost like you didn't do anything at all. And then land controlled. Land in a clean way. Hello, my name is Ben Brown, and I will be your teacher for this DVD. The techniques I'm covering are some of my favorite techniques. It's hard. I'm looking at a screen. I'm me, and I'm looking right in front of a screen that has me on it, so it screws with your head. Believe that? Hi, I'm Ben Brown. Also, it is, Godfrey's gonna love this when he sees it. Also, it's officially 8:30 in the morning, and I have been doing commentary all night. So, with that being said, I'm Ben Brown, and I'll be your teacher for this DVD. The techniques that I'll show you and the techniques that I will teach in this DVD are, they're some of my favorite techniques, but the reason I chose these specific techniques was simply because I feel that they are a good representation of the martial arts. And I think that martial arts is too much about flipping and these kinds of techniques, and flipping and twisting and things of that nature. So I wanted to cover mostly attacking techniques. I wanted to cover kicking techniques mainly. So I hope you enjoy the DVD, and yeah, it'll be a good time. It'll be fun. Thanks. I really lost it. I'm so tired right now. It's unbelievable. Shut out. Pitch black. Right now, sun is totally up. Everybody else is asleep. Another reason I'm doing this is simply because there's a clock at the top right corner, and it tells me how much tape feed is left in the tape, and I'm kind of just trying to run it down. I don't know, because it might make Godfrey mad. That in turn could be exciting footage for the DVD. I don't know, just kind of running the tape down just because it's in there. Bored. I'm awake. Everyone else is asleep. I know. We should take the camera and go wake everyone up. That would be fun. But I can't do that. Because I'm going to go to sleep now. And pretty soon. And when I go to sleep, they will wake up, and if I wake them up while they sleep, they will do the same to me. It's The Art of War, Sun Tzu. Clearly read it on page 112. It talks about that specifically. Yeah, check that out, The Art of War. Good book. Okay. Again. Bye. Thank you. See you soon. What a gainer flash kick is the speed of the kicking leg, lifting you and picking you up and around. Don't ever think of any kind of gainer flipping technique as a jump. Gainer is a lift. A true gainer flash kick will be flipping and kicking backwards, but it will be traveling forwards. Because to do a true gainer, you have to be flipping one way and travel another. To do the gainer flash kick, start out in a natural position with your arms down at your side. As you see in the video, I step once and then I go. But my burst is forceful enough and fast enough that that motion still carries me forward. Once your trail leg is down on the ground, your kicking leg is behind you and your arms are behind you, throw the the kick of the gainer flash kick up, straight up towards the sky, and throw your arm swing up towards the sky as well. Simultaneously, you need to throw your head back and arch your back. Also, tight trail leg. Tuck your trail leg in very, very, very tight. The rest is just getting lift, and by getting lift is to very, very, very aggressively throw the kicking leg towards the sky. The kicking leg is what picks you up, and by you throwing your head back, that's what causes the flipping motion. To make this technique clean, big arm swing, tight trail leg. That makes the kicking range look bigger. Always tuck your trail leg in. Point your trail leg foot and your kicking foot. Point your feet. It looks better. It looks cleaner. When you're upside down and you've executed the kick, you're going to be looking up at the ground, like flash kick. The only difference though is because you're traveling forward, the ground below you will be moving forward. This makes landing the technique a little bit more tricky. What you need to do is aggressively plant your kicking foot down on the ground. Once your kicking foot is down on the ground, your arms are in, you've wrapped up to maintain speed, to get around fast enough to keep your chest up. Quickly put down your trail leg and then walk out of it. Step out with your trail leg. That way you can land in a controlled way. One of my favorite techniques is shuriken twist. The reason I love this technique so much is because it is simultaneously an evasive technique and an attacking technique at the exact same time. And I love that. It's awesome to me in that way. I love it. To execute shuriken twist, you want to start out in a fighting stance. Your back leg should spin around. First turn your head, then let your foot spin around. What you're going to do is a half turn. You're going to spin 180 degrees around. Then the foot that was going around is going to jump. When you jump heel to toe. Another thing, don't dip like a butterfly twist. When you do butterfly twist, you dip. Don't do that with this. It won't work. It won't make the technique look as fast and powerful as it should. Also, the trail leg. Throw the heel of the trail leg straight up towards the sky. This will bring your hips to your chest. Right now, you should be completely flat, sideways in the air. At this point, your trail leg should be straight. As a matter of fact, both legs should be straight at this point. You should be looking over your shoulder. It's a twisting technique. As you're twisting around, what you're going to do is you're going to execute a very fast and strong outer crescent kick that will come up and over the top. You want to keep your hands in tight. The outer crescent kick is going to come up and straight over the top as if it's going to come down on top of someone's head. As the kick starts to fall down from the peak, then you want to start pulling in at the knee, start tucking at the knee, the trail leg. Start wrapping up the trail leg. When your outer crescent kick starts to come down, you'll be able to see. You can see me right there. I'm looking down at the ground. I can see exactly where my foot is going to land. Once you've put the kicking foot down on the ground, keep your trail leg up. The knee should be higher, a lot like side swipe. Even though the kicking leg is down, the trail leg should still be up. Because of the speed it takes to make this outer crescent kick powerful enough to come down on someone's head, you have to generate a lot of speed. So you should spin out of this technique to maintain control so you can land it in a clean way. You should stop the technique again like all others on the drop of a dime. Just stop. Boom. Shuriken twist.
before.
Yeah. What up now? Oh, we're gonna die. Dang.
So what's your training routine?
Training routine. I train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And the actual time that I train is not that long because I don't believe that practice makes perfect. I think that perfect practice makes perfect, and you have to do your techniques 110% or don't do them at all. If you're not going to do them right, don't do them, because if you're doing them wrong, all you're doing is practicing bad habits, and that's not good. So don't even waste your time. So I do low reps. I rep a lot, it's all reps, but I don't tire myself out. I don't train to the point of exhaustion, because that's not good, because then all you're doing is practicing weak technique. So Monday through Friday, and I train kicking, jump kicking, trick techniques, evasive techniques, and that's about it.
What's your thoughts while training prior to a tournament?
Honestly, my competition, who I'm going against, and I see their form in my head, what they do, how they do what they do, and what I have to do to make, to beat it. So to be cleaner, to be faster, those types of things.
What are your thoughts seconds prior to competition?
I get angry, actually, because it pumps me up. I think about something that makes me mad. Truly, I don't know. I get mad, and I just go. I get mad because it helps the nerves, because you're always nervous. You always have butterflies, and that helps because that gives you adrenaline. But it can get to a point to where it gives you the jitters, and that's bad. If adrenaline and nerves are calling you to be shaky and make you feel weak-kneed, that's not good. So then you take it to the point of anger where you don't care. You don't care what happens. Every technique you throw is gonna break a brick wall. Then it works out. That's good. It works good. Like Chris Ballou-Lewis hand techniques.
What are your thoughts on backyard trickers?
It's very flattering that they emulate or obviously take a liking to the techniques that we execute. However, I don't believe it's good for martial arts, because it's a fact that martial art trick techniques came from martial arts. No one can deny that. Yes, martial arts has a 540 kick, and snowboarding has a 540 spin, as does skateboarding, and as I'm sure BMX bikers have a 540, they have a 1080. Great, fine, good for them. But two completely different reasons, two completely different techniques. They are nothing the same. And martial arts is martial arts. Trick techniques is just a part of martial arts. And without martial arts, you have nothing. And without strong martial art foundation, without clean technique, you are just a tricker. And that's not much. If you call yourself a tricker, you're really not calling yourself much of anything, because you have no foundation. I mean, it's just the way it is. Martial artist. That's what it needs to be. You need to be a martial artist, not a tricker.
What motivates you to keep going?
I'm very content with my skill. I'm very confident with my skill. I realize where I'm at, and I... Okay. Sorry. Chris Billangu is a celebrity, and he gets phone calls often, usually on the set. But what was the question? Motivation. Oh, yeah. I'm very happy with where I'm at. I know what I do. I know my strengths, and honestly, my strengths are correct, clean technique and speed, and that's what I want. So, what motivates me is the desire to maintain that. Just to keep doing what I do, because I'm very content with my skill. And the thing is, though, is I hear often people say, if you ever get happy with your skill, stop, don't train anymore, go on to do something else, blah, 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 blah. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that on any level, because you can be content with your skill, you can be satisfied with your abilities, but that doesn't mean you just stop training them. That means you keep doing it more and more and more and more. Keep it, maintain it, because the day you stop training, you will quickly lose your skill. It will slip away faster than anything. It has to be maintained, and so what motivates me is maintaining my skills.
What are your thoughts on the tournament scene?
Competition scene for me was huge. Very, very, very beneficial. It pushed me really hard, and made me see other things. The tournament circuit for me was nothing but good things. Every time I went to a national, I saw or learned something new, something. However, today, I still think those benefits are still there. I just don't think they're as evident today, because the only evidence of national competition or world competition, whatever, that I see today is triggers. Again, going back to the problems with martial arts being lost. I'd really like to see more martial art techniques thrown. I think that trick techniques are mandatory. They've came with the evolution of martial arts. It's a fact. Martial arts has evolved. Trick techniques have come with it. But there is a fine line between the evolution of martial arts and fusing it with gymnastics. That's a huge difference. Yes, the martial arts can evolve, but it should never fuse with gymnastics or dance or any of that crap. Martial arts is its own thing. And the tournament circuit today has fused. It has not evolved. It did evolve, but then it got out of hand, and I think it fused with gymnastics and dance and breakdancing and all these other things, and that is not good, because that is not martial arts, and that is not what martial arts was intended to be. So I think there's a lot of good trickers on the circuit, but there is absolutely no skilled martial artist that I have ever seen on the circuit today. That's just the way I see it. There's no one skilled in the martial arts.
What's your prediction on tricking?
I think it's going to get way out of hand, and I think that, honestly, my opinion is that it's going to get so out of hand that it's going to get completely impractical, to where people are going to start to look around and go, wait, what happened? I kind of remember, like, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever, and it was a lot of kicking and a lot of punching and a lot of, it was cool because everybody looked like a ninja, and now we just look like a bunch of gymnasts. And I think that it's going to hit a point to where people are going to come to a realization, because it's going to get way out of hand, and it's going to revert back to its traditional roots. I really think that right now it's really cool to do something hard and really cool to do, whatever flip or twist or whatever. I think in a couple of years it's going to be really, really cool to have a perfect sidekick, because it's not going to be found. Everybody wants what they can't have or what they don't have, and right now everyone has tricks because that's all there is, and no one has decent kicks. Some people can kick high, but that doesn't mean you can kick it all. I hate when someone puts their foot high up in the air and people call them a good kicker. That does by no means you're a good kicker. Just because you can put your foot in the air does not mean anything. And there is no good kickers at all who can trick. There are good kickers, but they can't trick. And there are good trickers, but they can't kick. There is no one on the competition circuit today competing who can do both. No one. And that is what will start to be cool, is people who can do both. Somebody's gonna do a perfect sidekick, a really good sidekick, and people are gonna lose their minds because that's not seen anymore. That's what I think.
How did you get started in the martial arts?
When I was 6, I saw Bruce Lee, and I saw Enter the Dragon. It was in Missouri, where I'm from. My mom was in the kitchen. I was in the living room. And I watched Bruce Lee kick Han in the face with a roundhouse kick at the end of the movie. He kicked him in the face with a roundhouse kick, and that kick was so fast and snappy. I didn't realize it at the time that I didn't register. I was too little. I mean, I was 6, but I knew it was fast, but I didn't really register it as speed. I just registered it as, dang, that guy got kicked and he didn't even see it coming type of thought. But I had no knowledge of martial arts, and I walked into the kitchen and I said, "Mom, come here." And she went in there and I said, "I want to do that." I didn't even know what it was. And she said, "Oh, you want to do karate?" And so she signed me up for Shotokan karate class when I was 6, and I studied Shotokan for a while, and then we moved, so I had to stop studying there at that school. And then I picked up Taekwondo when I was 12, which I'm super thankful for because I'm a kicker. I'm a total kicker. I'm much more coordinated with my legs. I have much more speed with my legs, and I'm a kicker by heart. So Taekwondo is the perfect style for me personally, because Taekwondo is the kicking art. So that's how it started.
What are your present whereabouts?
Present whereabouts, San Jose, California. Before that, it was Los Angeles. If you get a chance to go to Los Angeles, pass on that. Too many rude people, no one can drive, too much traffic. And I like the city. LA is cool, but the people ruin that place, just for your information. All you guys watching at home. LA, cool place to visit, don't live there. And before that was Missouri, where I was born and bred and raised and all that good stuff. Good old country town. Really nice people there. Good place. So right now I'm in San Jose with Devera, Chris Balua, Hai Lee, and all the Lou kickers. So it's fun. It's fun. It's hard to get stuff done though because we spend too much time laughing. But it's good.
What's your future plans?
Future plans. Alright. Everybody at home, get ready to sit back in your couch cushion and go, wow, Ben Brown is weird. My future plans are to train. That's it. I just want to train. I just want to maintain my skills, just train. That's when I am truly me and I'm truly happy, is just when I'm training. And right now, that's what I want to do. Someday, I want to pass on the martial arts. I do want to teach. I think that's extremely important to keep the knowledge you have going and keep it alive. You have got to pass it down. But I'm not ready for that yet. I'm too young. I'm not done training. I think that the martial arts is a way of life. In the first half of your life, you spend it training and mastering your skills, whatever they may be, whether they're grappling, striking, whatever, you're mastering your skills. And then the second half of your life, you spend your life passing them down, teaching what your skills are, keeping them alive. And I'm only 23. I have many, many, many years left of training, so I'm not ready for teaching yet. But someday I will teach and have a school with a very, very small number of students and train them. And that's that. But as of now, my near future goals just want to train. Just to train. That's it.
What was your...
Oh yeah, in Japan. Yeah. I'm seriously. If there's any way to go to Japan and live, I will do it because Japan is the most beautiful country in the world. But be that as it may. Okay. Yeah.
How did you get involved in this project?
I don't know. Maybe you should answer that question. I don't even know, dude. Oh yeah, I do. I was. We were gonna go eat with Mike, right, Lou?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think. And I went into the Cambrian West Coast school just to see if Mike was there, and he was not. And Devera was there. And Devera walked up to me and gave me a 5 and said, "Hey, we're doing a teaching video, and we want you to be the first one." And that's how I heard about it. I was like, "Sweet, teaching video, I'm down. I don't say no more. I don't care, whatever." So that's how it worked. Good.
I do that without breaking your ankle. And round.
That's crazy. Hey, what do you guys doing in foot like that?
Sick. Oh, God! Oh my God. Oh! Oh, man. Oh, can you do a kick full speed? Oh!
Start the beat. Martial combat.
Because not yet begun.